What percent of your customers are giving you all the business they possibly could right now? Anybody think 100% of your customers are giving you all the business they could? Anybody over 75%? Over 50? Over 30%? I'm not surprised. When I ask people, I see a couple hands go up. When I ask this question, I don't care what industry people are in, most people tell me, if I could average the answers out, somewhere between 15 and 20% of our customers are giving us all the business they could. Okay, let's take October out of the mix because it was a crazy month financially. Go back to September. I'd then say, so how much is the economic downturn going to hurt you? Oh, about 15 or 20%. Okay, 20% of your customers are giving you all the business they could. That means 80% aren't. The economic downturn's going to hurt you 10 or 15%. Some people will wipe out, some people will do well. But the point is, though the economy and its problems are real, the untapped potential in our existing customer base is to drive results. The latent profit in the customers to whom you spend your time, with whom you spend your time working and thinking about, dwarfs the problems from the outside world. So let's think about it. If there is significant latent profit in your existing customer base, how do you get it out of there? You all know about Roosevelt's fireside chats, these radio addresses he would do? Well, the first radio address he was going to do was Sunday, the week after he was inaugurated in March of 1933. And the economy was just the depression. It was horrible. And he's looking out the window while he's working on his speech, and he sees this guy, this workman, taking down the scaffold from his speech, from his inauguration, excuse me. And he said, I want to write a speech and give it on the radio that that guy can understand. And he started conjuring up images. He talked about, a woman working in a store, a guy working on a construction site, a guy working in an office. I think he thought about a plumber. I don't know. But he thought of these actual individual people. And then when he got down for the radio address, it was incredible. Up until then, for thousands of years, how did people do public speaking? They didn't have the benefit of a microphone, so they had to orate and scream. And so when the first radio announcers came on, they used that thousands-of-year-old habit of screaming and yelling because they didn't realize the microphone could help them. Early radio was like this. Roosevelt realized he didn't need to do that. So with these ideas of these individual people in his mind, he'd sit down, and they said while he was giving his radio addresses, he'd talk like this, and he'd gesticulate with his arms, and he'd look and he'd smile and make faces. You can integrate the physics of human relationships into the work you do by creating these ongoing conversations with your customers that build into relationships one encounter at a time. With these, quote, impersonal communications, aim for encounter. Teach your people at the customer service desk to be engaged in the moment. Think when you're writing copy, how can it be more something that we show we're really focused on this? A good example, you get an email from somebody that's got typos, they weren't engaged in the moment when they send it. Conversation, make it easy for your customers to talk back to you. And uniqueness, track what it is that makes each of them different.